BLR.
This show is copyright by VLR Media. All opinions of panelists and guests are their own and may not reflect the opinion of VLR Media, the host, or anyone else. This is Battle for Freedom with your host, Watson Prunier.
Hi, everyone. Watson Prunier here today with you on Vigilant Liberty Radio. You can follow me, just going to give you information. You can follow me on Twitter at Battle for Freedom X, and you can follow me on my website at www.battleforfreedom.com. Also, if you would like to call the show, the number is 412-567-6879. Now, I have a special friend who's going to be coming on shortly, and I'm going to definitely want to get her feedback on this. But I saw this article today, and I thought it was really interesting. It said uh, on Daily Mail, it says cops are more hesitant to shoot armed black suspects than whites. And this is a study that's found. It talks about the whole idea that when confronting an armed white suspect, it took an average of 1.3 seconds for them to pull the trigger, but then it took 1.61 seconds for them to open fire on an armed black suspect. And they said that the researchers believe that the reactions are basically they don't want to deal with the consequences of killing a black person. And I just find that really interesting in our hands up, can't breathe, hands up, don't shoot, and can't breathe mantra that's been going on for the last few months. So I think it's very interesting. You can go to Daily Mail and see that, read that article, give your feedback if you want to call and talk about that. But the first person I want to hear feedback on this, and also I need to give a shout out to my island sister, Jess. Jess is in the background keeping me in check, so really grateful for that. Go Island Espanola.
Hispaniola, yeah.
But I want to introduce a friend that I've known for years now. And wow, I would say that this person is like a kindred spirit to me, and I just love the way that her mind thinks. She is completely witty, sarcastic. I want to read something that I saw in her profile before I give you her name and bring her onto the show. But she said, under her education, studied wisecracking, innuendo, smarmy remarks, and insult at the Siciliano School of Sarcasm. And I just love it because it just fits her to a T. So what I want to do is I want to introduce my friend, Jeannie DeAngelis. Jeannie, are you there?
I'm here.
Now, did I
Hi.
pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, you did. Very
Awesome.
good. Very well.
Very good.
You
Awesome. I,
introduced
I
me to
never
me.
want to screw that up because I know you'll let me have it. But, it's Jeannie, uh, tell the audience a little bit about yourself with some of the things that you do that you're pretty active with right now.
Well, I'm a wife first, and a mom, and a grandma to three boys. I have three grandsons. I work full time in higher education for almost 25 years.
Hmm.
And my husband has been in ministry, so I've worked in ministry, I've worked in education, and I've always written, but in the last, I'd say since the election of Barack Obama, I started to write more actively, and it just kind of snowballed into where now I'm a featured writer on American Thinker. I've written for Breitbart. I've written for Daily Caller, Taki's Mag. I'm trying to think, Live Action News, and I'm a weekly featured columnist on Flash Daily. So that's how I ended up on the show with you, right, Robson?
Yeah.
from reading from reading
Well,
my rantings, my rantings. But when I started, right after Obama was elected, I just started. I don't even know what I was thinking because I just sent articles to American Thinker. Like, who did I think I was? I sent them an article, and they were like, no, no, no," and I just kept sending them. Like I wasn't really all that adept at writing. I guess I thought I wrote better than I really did. And then finally, after about bothering them for like 6 months with sending these articles, I sent them one time, and I said, "I know, no," and I got a reply back from the editor. No, 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 this one's good. And they ended up getting me an editor. They were like, "No, no, no, Gene, no, this is good." And they hooked me up with an editor that worked with me patiently and lovingly, and instructed the living daylights out of me and helped to make me a better writer. So now I'm just like on automatic pilot.
oh my goodness, an automatic pilot. Sometimes I think you're operating a a time machine, because you just pull out some things that I see on Facebook that you post there, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's just brilliant, or that's just insane. I'm like, and nobody's talking about this. And you're like the first person who's talking about it at least 48 to 96 hours before anybody else is touching the subject. And that's what I really enjoy about sometimes when I see you just get out there, that you tweet, I'm not tweet, but you post your thoughts. And like I was saying to Jessica, everyone, that Jeannie has this ability to say the things on Facebook that we all want to say, but uh, we usually keep them inside of our minds. And I think Jeannie's probably given up as saying, "Did I say that with my outside voice?"
Yes. Well, it's. I honestly have to tell you, Watson and Jessica, is that we have to start to say something. We have to start to speak up, because if we don't, we're going to lose our country. So
Yeah.
there's some things that are just worth taking the risk to do and to say. What makes me even more uncomfortable is the fact that I even have to question what I'm saying before I say it, because we're living in a political environment right now where we don't even feel safe expressing our opinions. So that
Mm.
in itself makes me want to say it even more, because I'm not going to allow whatever is at work here to stop me from exercising the freedom that was won for me as an American. So I will keep saying it until they come. My husband says, "Honey, we're going to have to sit on the floor of the living room because there's going to be a red dot on the wall one of these days." Or is that a guy in camouflage gear hanging upside down in the tree outside our window? But we say that in jest, but in reality, it's not really all that far fetched to believe that we know we're being watched, we know we're being listened to. There's no way. My husband always says to me, "Honey, you're going to get us killed." Well, like I said, there's some things worth dying for, and that's just, and I'm not a brave person, and I'm not a confrontational person, but for some reason, God has given me the grace to be able to say, like you say things that people are thinking, and I give the credit and the glory to Him for that, because I don't have that kind of courage in my own strength.
Well, and that's what I love. That's what I love about you, Jeannie, is that you basically you speak out for truth, and that's what we should be willing to die for the truth. And I think what you bravely do is what a lot of Christians don't want to do, because they're under the assumption that Christians can't basically get out there and talk about politics. They can't talk about these things that are relevant, because we're supposed to just basically go and cower and hide in our churches and just stay in the pews and hope that everything is going to be fine inside the church walls, and just not have any care or concerns about what's going on the outside. And it's like,
Let
you're
me just
right.
tell
We
you,
do
you
have
are
to speak
hitting
up.
a nail right on the head, because I've felt personally judged. I've been a Christian since all my life, but I mean, like, a committed born again Christian, I would say. My husband was in ministry and everything since 1978. And
Mm.
when I really jumped both feet into politics, where I, was trying to, drag the church kicking and screaming into the arena where we stand as a unit and a community on behalf of the principles that God uh, expects us to live by, I felt very judged. Like, we're supposed to be going to potluck dinners, making macaroni and cheese, and praying, and God will do it. Well, they wouldn't have gotten along very well with Jesus. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And if he was walking the face of the earth, or any of the apostles, God wants us to be light and salt in this earth, and that means, the foundational principles that we stand for, like let's say the sanctity of life, and if you read any of my stuff, it's very foundational to me, and that's probably the thing that has pushed me out into the arena to speak out is the understanding that if a politician or a person in power will destroy an innocent unborn life, they're capable of killing us. They don't have any compunction about doing anything to anybody if that's what they're really about. And if that's not
That's right.
serious enough to get your attention, then you're going to be awfully surprised someday when you're in a position where you can't even defend your own life because you've let this thing get as far as it's gotten. So it's
Exactly.
not, you kill a baby, all bets are off with me, and not only because I'm against abortion, because that's indicative of the spirit that's behind the other side.
Agreed. And I have a buddy. He was on with me last week. Jason would be with there you wholeheartedly. He is, yeah, he is. Man, he is a true advocate for just being against abortion. He's just pro life. Period. And I think that's you hit something on the nail here, Jeannie. That I think that a lot of people don't want to see. It's looking beyond quote unquote the political points, but looking at the issue of it's being an issue of right and wrong, and looking at the nature of the individuals involved in some of the most horrendous activity in the history of this country. And a lot of people just want to basically put their heads in the sand like ostriches and hope that the problem just passes over. And it's like, no, it's not going to happen like this. Things are going to continually get worse. And as we continue to sit here and allow more and more rights to erode, you know what? The euthanasia, so yeah, the euthanasia of how many children have we aborted in the last 40 years? How many, and think
60
of
million.
who, and think of the
60
numbers of
million.
older generational people who are on the chopping block now because of they're going to die out because of the lies that were basically promoted. I mean, the lies that were promoted via Obamacare. We hear the terms death panels, but we don't want to hear it because, okay, Sarah Palin said death panels, and Sarah Palin just represents the right and the Republicans, and we don't want to listen to them. No, people, it's time to actually take a listen and hear what's going on because they're not only rejecting old people, they're rejecting all kinds of people. We have a friend right now in Louisiana who's been struggling to try and get an operation for over a week now, and she's been in pain and she can't get them to cooperate down there.
Well,
We're
that's the
praying that
point.
she'll be in
It's like
surgery tomorrow.
I don't know if you ever saw you probably have seen the YouTube video where this woman stands up and asks the president a question at some sort of a forum, and she said to him, Mr. President, which just in itself that she would even have to ask the president a question like this. She says to him, my mother is like 100 years old, and she's got a great spirit for living. Do you think if she needed a bypass operation, you would allow her to get it? Okay, let's just focus on that for a second. She asked the
Hmm.
president if he would allow our mother to live, and he said no. He
Wow.
he didn't come right out and say no, but he said, well, there comes a time when you give her a pill, was pretty much what he said. But the bottom line of it is, Watson, that if you have somebody in power here, you have a spiritual stronghold over the nation, where someone's in power who voted against giving water, warmth, and oxygen to babies born alive in botched abortions.
Yeah.
Do you really think that this person that would actually lay a little baby that can't defend in a laundry room to die gives a good darn about grandma? No.
Yeah.
If you're making policy, if the policies that you're implementing are driven by individual convenience, because that's really what it is. Out of the 60 million people that have died, 98% of them have been abortion on demand for convenience purposes only. So that
Yeah.
means that convenience in a morally relativistic society